the solemn setting of St. Peter's Basilica on April 23, 2025, amidst the presence of heads of state and Vatican officials, a singular moment unfolded, leaving an indelible mark on church history. Sister Genevieve, a small figure with a blue backpack, broke with rigid protocol to approach the bier of Pope Francis. Her presence, permitted by the Swiss Guard, held profound symbolic meaning, reflecting her unique relationship with the deceased pontiff. 20 minutes of silent prayer beside the coffin, broadcast globally, revealed the powerful spiritual bond between her and Pope Francis. This moment not only challenged the rigid rules of hierarchical systems, but also embodied the inclusive and pastoral vision of the Francis papacy. Sister Genevieve's relationship with Pope Francis transcended centuries of Vatican tradition. This special friendship was built on shared values and a dedication to serving marginalized communities. That final farewell reflected a genuine friendship based on mutual respect and deep theological harmony. This friendship served as a vibrant emotional testament to Pope Francis's call for a more inclusive and compassionate church. The image further highlighted the shift in church culture under Francis toward humility and authenticity in relationships. At 81 or 82 years old, Sister Genevieve belonged to the Little Sisters of Jesus, a religious order inspired by the spirituality of Charles de Foucault. Instead of convent life, she chose a humble mobile home in Ostia and served in an amusement park. She served marginalized groups, transgender women, sex workers, circus performers, and the poor. She created a spiritual haven within the amusement park, realizing Christ's incarnational mission to live among the least of these. Her approach mirrored Pope Francis's pastoral style accompaniment, instead of judgment, presence instead of preaching. Her statement, "I didn't choose this life, it chose me," highlighted a vocation driven by compassion, not organizational placement. Conservative elements within the church criticized her unconventional ministry. Questions arose about a nun living among groups traditionally excluded by Catholic moral teaching. However, her ministry remained firmly grounded in her order's charism, living among the poor and abandoned. Her alignment with Pope Francis's theology allowed her to transcend theological tensions through concrete compassion. This story reflects broader tensions in the modern church between organizational conservatism and pastoral progressivism. Vatican II emphasized the church's role in engaging with the modern world, including marginalized communities. Sister Genevieve's ministry and Pope Francis's papacy exemplify the call for aggiornamento from Vatican II. Their friendship and shared ministry embody Vatican II's vision of a church prioritizing the dignity of every person, especially those on the margins of society. Sister Genevieve's unusual path to religious life was forged in the painful losses of Argentina's dirty war. Her aunt sister Leonie Duque was kidnapped and murdered by the military dictatorship for supporting the mothers of the Plaza de Mayo. This loss instilled in Genevieve a lifelong commitment to justice and solidarity with the oppressed. Her ministry was not only pastoral but also a form of remembrance and resistance against state-sponsored violence. The Dirty War was a brutal period of military repression, targeting dissidents and political activists. Religious figures like Duque and Domon became victims for their advocacy for the families of the disappeared. Sister Duque was tortured and executed via death flights, a regime tactic of throwing living victims into the sea. Her remains were later identified through DNA and buried alongside Esther Balestrino de Careaga, who had a connection to Jorge Bergoglio. Jorge Bergoglio, then the Jesuit provincial superior of Argentina, served throughout the dictatorship a morally complex position. He was criticized for not speaking out more forcefully, but later took steps to support human rights as Archbishop of Buenos Aires. He opened church archives to assist families of the disappeared and acknowledged the church's failings during that era. His youthful connection with Balestrino, who had been his supervisor in a chemistry lab, symbolized a personal connection to the conflict's victims. Both Genevieve and Bergoglio carried emotional wounds and moral ambiguities from the Dirty War. Their paths intersected in Buenos Aires in the early 2000s, beginning a relationship built on shared pain and moral transparency. Their shared empathy for suffering, reconciliation, and advocacy for the marginalized became the foundation of their friendship. This spiritual bond was further solidified when Bergoglio became Pope Francis, finding global expression in their work and witness. Both believed authentic faith must actively engage with social injustice and historical trauma. Their lived theology emphasized accompaniment, historical responsibility, and healing over organizational self-preservation. Their connection highlighted the Church's potential role as a moral witness in post-conflict societies. They modeled how the memory of injustice can shape a more just and pastoral future for the Church. Contrary to expectations, Pope Francis maintained and strengthened his relationship with Sister Genevieve. After his election in March 2013, he formalized this relationship with weekly Wednesday meetings, personal, intimate, and spiritually nourishing encounters. These were not ceremonial meetings but marked by close conversation and shared pastoral vision. The nickname Enfant Terrible that Francis used for Genevieve expressed affection and respect for her strong, sometimes disruptive fidelity to the gospel. This tradition reflected Francis's prioritization of relationships over bureaucracy and exemplified pastoral closeness from the highest office of the Church. Sister Genevieve acted as an unofficial ambassador for groups excluded from church life, particularly transgender people and sex workers.